Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecast, tide phase, tide charts, and moon phase. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. So if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining that there South Florida Salt family. All right, folks, let's get into it. Yeah, some interesting fishing going on this weekend. It's been slow, but it's picking up. We're starting to get that warm air coming in. We got another cold front coming in next week. But winter is slowly dissipating. I went out last Thursday, and we'll start off with that. I went out with Pedro, and I did something I've never done before. He taught me to fish for sheep's head in the Palm Beach Inlet. Great stuff. Had a great time. Tons of sharks. And yeah, so you cannot fish from the shore and get this done like this. You need a boat. And if you do get the hookup, there's no way you're getting it past the sharks. The bull sharks are relentless. But yeah, went out. It's some good fun. Definitely, if you can get out into the middle of the Palm Beach Inlet on a weekday, obviously, because on the weekend it's gonna be like 95. But out there, you can get in. It's some good fun. Totally nothing like what I ever imagined it would have been. But the sheep's head are there. They're rolling through. You can go through and get the hookup. Yes, you are going to get sharks. So, just prepare for it. And I cannot thank Pedro enough for taking me out and just showing me this fishery that it blew my mind. A totally different thought process when it comes to targeting sheep's head. I always thought it was scraping barnacles off walls and you just fish for them right around seawalls and docks and stuff. And no, this is literally 40 feet of water in the middle of the inlet. Crazy stuff. And I'm actually wondering if there's any other inlets that have this same sort of ecosystem setup going on. And the fact that there are giant bull sharks like that a couple hundred yards away from Peanut Island is even more amazing. All right, let's go and look at some other stuff that we got going on. There you go. Here's a nice reef haul. Yasmini, the yellowtails are fired up, folks. So if again, the reef fishing is what you got to do right now. Whether it's, like I said, Palm Beach Inlet, you go and you take your time. Yes, targeting sheep's heads is a little bit tricky. It's way easier to get these bad boys, 100%. But it definitely doable, definitely a learnable fishery. I picked up on it very quickly. But I would say definitely go with someone that's got it dialed in. Anyway, yellowtails, folks, right? So soon this is going to be winding down and the return of the reef predators will come. Nice job to Yasmin. Let's see what else. There we go. There's another one. Pick of those. Here we go. Up north a little bit, right, folks? You got, this is a nice little reef haul. A little bit of everything. Caught a bunch of sea bass, but they were tiny. But yeah, hey, you can't complain. Not at all. Got a little bit of everything going on, and definitely, table fare right here, right? Here we go. Here is your intracoastal canal haul. If you cannot get out and you're really itching to get wet and get, wet a line and come home with dinner, we got a little bit of everything. We got some mangroves. We got some grunts. We got a crevalle and a bunch of these. Everybody's asking, are they the Bermuda chubs? No, they are not Bermuda chubs. These are spot tail pinfish. I missed your live fishing trip. No. It wasn't a live fishing trip. It's on YouTube. It's all edited up. There's no way. It was 4 hours of constant filming and took a ton of time to put it together. It's on there. It's on like the main channel. You go there and check it out. And if you're into fishing for sheep's head like that, it'll definitely show you how to get into the bite. Definitely. All right. Yeah. Pinfish, right? Hey, they're definitely edible. Hey, man, you know how many of these things I've eaten in my life? So if anyone knocking it, man, you haven't tried it. Anyway, great haul. And dude's going to have a fish fry and a half. Here's Pedro. He went out with a buddy I think a couple of days ago, and they weren't as successful. Obviously the sharks were that much more relentless that day because you can't pick them off. They went out with a buddy before he's getting ready to head out of town for a little bit. you know, go do his thing and then get back, put him back on some fish. But, you know, if you're looking for, you know, some generosity, Pedro is just, you know, quite unmatched. Here we go, Chris. Nice mutton snapper. We got a shallow water mutton snapper. You can see by the green on its back. If it was a pinked up mutton snapper, that's a deep water one. So, hey, very nice. So the mutton snapper, right? I've always thought, you know, as May amps up, that's when the muttons are getting ready to spawn. And, you know, we're pushing towards it, so it'll be there. Mike, nice black grouper, pitched him back. You know, and like, again, another May is right around the corner, things, folks. But, hey, you know, hey, the fish are here, right? We're seeing them. We got slow going, no pumps today, but personal best pinfish. Hey, every day, like you got your best anglers in the world that have them days where they can't seem to connect with nothing. And, you know, there's no sense of ever saying, hey, you learn. And I would definitely, you know, I've brought that thing home and thrown them on the frying pan. All right, let's see what else we got. We went over all that. There's a couple, I saw a couple dolphin in the mix, which is very nice. We had Lieutenant Sean. He went out, didn't get much accomplished. Obviously, he's on a jet ski, guys. In case you're wondering, one of the bravest fellers out there, right? So, yeah, being on a jet ski, you can't get nothing. It's more of a, you know, it's more of a, you know, dealing with the elements at this point than fish. All righty. Let's see now. What else do we got here? Like I said, a couple dolphin, right? This is Raymond. Sean and I went out of Lighthouse Point, hooked up the mahi inside the reef, 80 feet. Yep, nice little schoolie. They swim around there. You'll pick them off sometimes. And then, hey, great. Go home and make some tacos. Awesome. Thanks you, Raymond, for the submission. And again, you know, Chris, another 11-pound bull on a Big Nick Macahoo. That is obviously the lure. Palm Beach, 250. February 12th. So obviously, you know, we've got a few mahis swimming around. They're very scattered. They will be showing up in full force. I'd say give it another 6-7 weeks and you're going to be mahi'd out. They'll be showing up in April. All righty. And yeah, let's see here. We got David. He lives in Boca. He went out and got himself some rosies and a yellow ice. He was out there deep dropping, right? That's what I call putting in work, because I know the weather has not exactly been, you know, in anyone's favor. So to go out there and get in on the, I don't know what the hell they're putting on Facebook nowadays. Some people got some weird sense of humor. Anyway, yeah. So this is what we're looking at, folks. Like kind of slow, right? But the bite is picking up, right? Captain Jim. We're going to talk about him right here. This guy, even though he's hidden, I've seen the videos. He got some nice fish. This is a 9-year-old stud right here. His name is Calvin. He went out fishing with Captain Jim. Speaking of devil, Jim, perfect timing. This is, I mean, man, tell me if I'm right, Jim, but he told you he's got this fish. Captain Jim wanted to help, and the kid left it in the rod holder and cranked on it until he got him to the boat. And I mean, you know, yeah, he even says it right here. Oh, Mom tried to help and take over, and, you know, no, my fish. Smart boy. And got 5 barracudas, all up to 20 pounds. Yeah, the kid had a heck of a trip, a lifetime full of memories. And I mean, you know, to go out on a charter boat, 9-year-old kid, how much fishing could this young man have possibly done in his life? Not to knock his experience at all, but to get a solid fish like that. I mean, definitely gonna remember this for the rest of his life, no matter how deep into the fishing world he goes. He'll be like, I remember that one time, this fish. Congratulations. And Captain Jim, like I said, the best of Boynton, truly. If you're looking for a charter out of Boynton Inlet in the area, hit up Captain Jim, right? He is sponsored by Evolution Lures, okay? Just to give you a little bit of insight of how sponsors pick up on him. with, you know, the business, you know, aspect of it that he, you know, brings to South Florida. He's a true professional, a family captain. You know, you're not going to go out there and get cussed out by him like the folks on Two Conks or anything like that. So, you know, hey, yeah, again, and if you can't get a hold of him and you're looking for him, get a hold of me. He's got a YouTube channel and everything. Go check it out, folks. Captain Jim Best of Point. All right. And yes, that was definitely our special one of the day, angler of the week, angler of the year so far to me. Yeah, definitely solid goings. All right, let's talk about weather, right? Weather is the weather. So here's what we got going on, folks. There's it's gonna heat up. It's gonna get up to almost 90 as we head through this weekend, and then come Sunday we got a cold front coming through overnight, and it's gonna not even reach 65 on Monday. Lovely. So let's look at this and run through our weather real quick. Right now for the rest of the week, I'm telling you, we've got, it's breezy. The seas are probably going to taper down slowly towards Sunday, that calm before the storm. If you're looking to get out, I would say Sunday before, you know, the afternoon will actually be your day, right, folks? Get out there and do it. So this is right now. Let's look at tomorrow morning, right? Got this southeast. So we got a southeasterly flow, right? During the winter months in Florida, when you have that southeast air, it's the water, the air coming off the water is warmer and more humid than the air coming down from the Arctic. Therefore, when we have that southeasterly flow, that's why it seems like it heats up during the wintertime. During the summertime, when we get the west winds, right, then they blow over the land, that the land heats the air up. So let me share this screen before I keep talking, and we will we'll get on with it. All right, so yeah, southeasterly flow, right? That's tomorrow morning, and we're looking at a little bit of west. It's all over the place, but you're generally going to have southeasterly flow. As you can see here, the Keys are running 10 knots southeast, 8 knots up in the up, you know, up towards Skyway Bridge and all that stuff, right where the mackerel are, 8 knots southeast. So, but remember, the West Coast is a very tricky fishery to figure out. But yeah, here we go. Everglades National Park, Chokoloskee, 10,000 Islands area, 9 knots southeast, right? Not much changes. Throughout the week, you're going to notice this trend, right? This southeast wind between 5 and 10 miles an hour, 5-10 knots. It don't matter. It's even a little elevated come Thursday afternoon, Friday morning. It's about the same stuff, right? So we're not seeing much of a change, right? We've got, again, right around 10 knots. So it's gonna create some choppy seas, folks. But is it undoable? No. And like I say, from what I looked at earlier, Sunday it might lay down, but that was yesterday. Who knows if it changed by now? All right, so that's tomorrow Friday morning. Friday afternoon looks like, you know, further down south you go, looks like the wind wants to kind of calm down, and the further north we travel up towards, you know, St. Lucie and everything, up past, once you get north of the Tri-County area, looks like you got that wind starting to rip, but it's along the coast. It's from the southeast again. So these are, you know, these are our springtime winds, the prevailing wind. It doesn't happen overnight, but when our winds shift, start coming from that southeast, that's what we're looking for. You know, it's going to blow all of the debris and all the flotsam and all the goodness up from the Sargasso Sea. It will drive the blooming Sargasso weeds up, you know, through the Florida Straits, around Cuba, Haiti, all that goodness, and we will start to get the bloom, and bam, it will coincide with the arrival of the mahi, you know, 6, 7, 8 weeks from now. Now, Saturday morning, same thing, still southeast, 5 to 10 knots, not much, right? So it'll matter. This wind, like I said, here we come Saturday afternoon, we can see the wind blowing down. Now, if you're new to the show, right, I'm kind of flying through it right now. Let me stop and pause. This is windy. The next several websites you're going to go to, the links are in the description. These are just forecast models, but they're very useful when it comes to pre-planning a fishing trip. However, there can always be discrepancies. So my best advice is use these, you know, not sparingly. You can trust them, but also if you're seeing lots of discrepancies, one saying one thing, one's way off base on another one, definitely use your live video cameras wherever you are. There's tons of them. Yeah, so windy is also great, right? You can click and point and it'll tell you wind speeds, rain accumulation, wave heights, anything like that, wherever you click and point. And you can also download your apps on your phones and use it that way. Whatever, whatever floats your boat, cup of tea. Good to go. So again, Saturday afternoon, we are seeing the slowing down of the wind speeds. And again, down here is a color-coded chart. I rushed ahead, and as you can see, the blues are somewhere a little bit below. The darker blue is a little bit right around 5 miles an hour. The greens are between 10 and 20. These purples are, very low, down around the 0 miles an hour or knots, whatever you want. Whatever you want to call it. A knot is 1.1 miles an hour, so interchangeable. All right. So this is what we're looking at, folks. Come Saturday, right? And then into Sunday, like I said, we should see, they're saying here comes that. So the wind's going to start blowing from the west. So we're not really, our calm before the storm is kind of going to be Saturday night when the ocean's going to lay down. And as you can see, here's the front, right? So this is 8 a.m. Let's see when it's going to hit us, come by. Afternoon. So yeah, it's a Saturday into Sunday. And then the wind's going to start ripping after it passes, right? So this is Monday. And yeah, we're looking at 20 plus miles an hour. Okay, so let's go back to tomorrow and let's look at our waves. See if there's going to be anything that's like, not really highly ridiculous. Obviously, you can see the lighter shade here. The West Coast has always got it easy, folks. We've got, let's look up north around the St. Lucie area, right? 5 foot at 11 seconds. So they're saying tomorrow morning, you've got a swell up north. And we have to check out a few other resources because I'm fairly confused as to how that would be, but we can see down in the Keys, we're looking at 3 foot 7 seconds heading from the east, right? Easterly waves. Further down you go, it seems like they kind of want to light. So the Keys is a little light. Once you get up into sort of Fort Lauderdale-ish, a little bit northern, you start getting that swell. Which I honestly, I haven't even looked. I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked at any inlet cams or nothing. So if there's a swell, there's a swell. Hey, even better. Tomorrow night, they're saying same thing. 4 foot, 5 foot swell hanging out, whole Tri-County area. And again, same goodness. The Keys are, light work. Friday, same thing for the Keys and up into Miami, right? 2 foot, 2 foot. Looking at 3 foot at 11 seconds come Friday, right? So if this swell is really what we got going on, folks, then during the week you can definitely get out and do it. The 3 foot swell is not bad, especially to exit the inlets. Same thing. Looks like our period is starting to tighten up come Friday, right? And down in the Keys, very light, mild seas for the next couple of days. Heading into Saturday, doesn't look like much, but our period is tightening up, like I said. So we've got 2 foot. The seas kind of go 2 foot at 9 seconds. So it's looking like if you are a weekend guy, that Saturday you should have this swell. The seas will be calmer. With the approaching front, you're going to have that dead zone right in between it. So and again, pre-front. Some fish turn on to bite. If you're looking for that hot sheep's head bite, if you're heading to the Palm Beach Inlet, I talked with Pedro, and historically, he's saying from his experiences that post cold front is when the bite is a little bit more active. Just something to keep in mind if you're looking for something to do, folks. All right, Saturday afternoon, a little bit lighter, especially way down south. So again, like I said, the calm before the storm. Looks like we're losing period, right? So our waves are getting closer, but they're actually getting smaller. And then as we head into Sunday, now we get this confused sea, because all of a sudden we've got winds ripping across the state at 10 plus, and that's where it is. Down in the Keys, however, you're looking at a beautiful Sunday until the afternoon comes in. So if you're down in the Keys, weekends looking, the rest of the week is even looking good. And come Sunday, you can see it coming, and we'll just putz on into Monday. There's your massive water flow. So we're going to be cool. Like I said, approaching 90 Sunday, And then Monday, it ain't even going to reach mid 60s. So, yeah, we shall see. And that's that's Palm Beach area. So down south, you might be a little warmer, but up in, to Cuesta, all that stuff, and north, you're going to be a little chilly come Monday. All righty, let's go on back. Let's look at a rain accumulation. See if this we'll see if the front's going to give us any stuff. Right now, we're still very dry, folks. This is tomorrow, all day tomorrow in the morning, Friday in the morning, in the afternoon. We're not even registering anything. Saturday, still nothing. Very, very dry. Very dry atmosphere. Comes Sunday. Oh, man, there's some moisture behind. There we go. That's Sunday. So we got our front coming in, and then so it looks like it's going to rain itself out. Maybe a few drizzles by the time it gets down here Sunday afternoon. Not much of any. The sky's going to gray up, and you're going to see it coming. If you get a few drops, hey, lucky you. If not, I don't think it'll be much of a rain event, more of a wind event. And then come Monday, it's gone, and we're back in the dry season, and we shall see. What the Arctic has to push our way after that. You never know. This could be the end of it, which, hey, let's see what happens. All right. So we'll call it quits on that one, and we'll move on to WINDFINDER, right, folks? WINDFINDER is just the numeric version of what we just went over. So this is what I'm always talking about when I say, use your resources. Go on ahead, check this stuff out, right? And you got a huge discrepancy between like periods, wave heights, wind speeds, anything like that. You can go to other sources, see if they jive with what you're using, or again, live cam. That's your most look, unless you live like on the beach. Man, stick your head out the window. All right. Thursday, again, southeast winds. So this is what we see right now, where we are, that this is, jiving with what we saw from Windy on the other one. Southeast winds, again, in between 5 and 10 knots. Okay. Sunny, cloudy Saturday, right, as our in front. Tomorrow, mixture of cloud and suns. Friday, and so Saturday is the day where, here they're saying you got a huge period in between it, right? So that extended period that we're seeing the swell, they're tending to agree with it. So, all the way through Saturday, it looks fairly good to get out there and do it. Especially if you only got, if you work the 40 and you can get out there one of them 2 days, you go on ahead and you do it Saturday. Because Sunday, it's going to peter down, as you can see, right? And look at the temperature, and then here's where your front's passing through. So, this model here shows the front passing a little later in the day. The one we just looked at said it's coming by 4 or 5 o'clock. But remember, fronts don't just appear. It's a slow rolling in. So, and then come Monday, you're looking at, huge seas, not much of swells, and it will peter out again. And we're going to stay, it looks like we'll be in the 50s and stuff Monday and Tuesday. All right. So that's what we'll look at, guys. We got ladies and gentlemen, don't let me exclude anybody. We got a cold front coming, and it looks fair all the way through the weekend. So, get out there and do it if you can. Let's check out our moon phase, right? See if it's going to help out. Moon phase is always, something if you fish by the light of the moon. Okay. So right now we are waxing. Waxing means we're heading towards a full moon. Waning means you're heading towards a dark moon. Okay, so we got a brand new moon. We're at a new moon. It was new yesterday, right? So the 18th, which is today, 2%. We're still basically a new moon. Tomorrow, 6%. Friday, 12. Sunday, 20. Saturday, 20. Sunday, 30. Monday, 40. Heading into Tuesday, half moon. Okay, so for me personally, these next several days I prefer to fish under the darkness of the moon rather than the moon illuminating it. Now, obviously, some days are better than others, but if you're asking me, hey, am I going for pelagics? I prefer the darker sky. The bait source is not so available under a darker sky. Under a more lit sky, the bait source for fish is highly available, and they chew all night. Now, when you're under the dark moon, like we are currently, right? These are when the bait guys go out and they pull all the goggle eyes, thread fins, and everything. They load up, and they make it so that everyone who is into live baiting can get out there and get it done. So this is the moon that I prefer. The snapper chew better, I think. The mackerels, not necessarily. A full moon is more of a mackerel turn on bite, but definitely your pelagics like your tuna and your mahi, they definitely, are a little more active. Now, of course, is this a rule of law? No, it's just a generalization, historical figure that I've noticed over, many moons of, getting a line away. All right. So that's our moon phase, folks. Let's do the tides and let everyone get on with life. So our tides, right? Our tides. So okay. I'm going to say this, generally speaking, because obviously I learned something this past Thursday that breaks the rule. Generally speaking, if you're trying to fish outside the inlet or in an inlet, you need an outgoing tide. Tide pushes out all the sediments. Smaller fish come in and eat the sediments. Bigger fish come in and eat that. So that's outside the inlet, right? Typically this. Now, Palm Beach Inlet happens to be a special creature where the incoming tide picked up the bite. We not only caught more sheep's head on an incoming bite, the sharks did not go away. Obviously, sharks don't care because of the food source. Sheep's head don't care because they're looking for mollusks and crustaceans and stuff that is on the ground. So the tide really doesn't affect their feeding habits. However, we did catch a mutton snapper on the incoming tide inside the inlet. So, I do stick by this outgoing tide for the inlets. However, Palm Beach Inlet just happens to be this special case. Now, I'm asking myself over and over again, hey, could Port Everglades be a similar situation? I don't know. Got lots of military vessels going in and out of there all the time. I'm not sure if there's a reef like there is in Palm Beach Inlet. There's literally a reef. So it's not very big, but it's there. All right, let's look at some tides, right? So tomorrow, we've got an incoming tide in the morning and in the afternoon, right? So not only do you need that outgoing tide, it also got to be like at a good time of day, right? In the morning or in the afternoon. It amps up the bite. Now, again, I'm not talking about fishing for sheep's head or bull sharks in Palm Beach Inlet. I'm talking about your general BOCA Inlet, Hillsborough Inlet. How do these inlets flush water out, and how does it affect the guys fishing the jetty and the people fishing out and around it, going for, drifting, chumming, trolling, whatever, jigging, whatever you got to go on. So this right now, currently our tide cycle is 180 out of phase. Incoming tides, morning and night. Outgoing tide, dead in the middle of the day. So this would work for the Palm Beach Inlet. Again, doesn't change Friday, Saturday, into Sunday. So next weekend, as you can see, our the tide cycles shift from morning to night. They fluctuate every 12 hours. So probably more than likely come next week, you will see the proper tide cycle in your favor for fishing that water flow and your typical inlet. I have to watch what I say now because so that's what we got going on right for our tides. All right, that about does it, folks. Before we head out, if you are on Facebook, I just want to ask you to go on ahead and join. Ask to join South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It's a private group. Got to answer a couple of questions to be part of the group. What's your favorite fish? You don't obey the rules. The rules are simple. No screwing around. I'm not even going to go over it. It should be fairly common sense. No soliciting, no harassing, none of that stuff. And this is a fairly chill community. All right. If you can't find it, it looks like this: South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. There won't be a date on it. It'll look like that, and you just ask to join. Every Monday we put out the brag board question. If you make a post, guaranteed to be showcased on the show, unless of course I completely dummy it up, which has happened. Or you don't even have to post it on there. You can just make a post on the feed and, you know, see what everybody's got going on. A lot of people, I saw a couple posts about Ron DeSantis and the red snapper season, you know. So definitely, if you got something to say, hey, make it happen. Here we go, Captain Jim with that kid again. You know, awesome stuff going on. Yeah, South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. And asked to join it. And this report right here on Facebook directly correlates to this live stream we are doing right now. So every week, this is what makes it happen. So all the kind folks who make their submissions, you know, want to chat up the room a little bit and give a little bit of, you know, insight as to what's happening out there in the water. Great deal. All right. So yeah, definitely. If you're on Facebook, you know, and you want to be part of the fun, come on, join. I would like to thank everyone before I cut out here. Over the past couple of days, I have received emails, and you'll like this, by the way. I've received emails. I've received comments on some videos. I would like to thank everyone who keeps confusing South Florida Salt as the South Florida Fishing Channel. I've been asked, hey, Heiko, how you doing? And I'm sorry, bud, that's the other guy. Thanks for reaching out, though. Anyway, I'm not Heiko. He's the other guy. You want to watch like 45 to 60-minute videos with fishing, good fun. You know, he gets along with the folks down there around Dan, the Florida fishing couple. They got some good stuff. Cool. You know, hey, but not me. Sorry, folks. All right. All good fun, right? Okay, everybody. Yeah, hit it if you can. If not, gonna be a little chilly. Started come next week. What can we say? All right. About ready to get out of here. Till next Wednesday. South Florida Saltwater Fishing. Going wherever the cool wind takes us.